we are once again in the Digital Foyer. My name is Father Simon Lobo. I'm the pastor here at St. Benedict, and I'm joined by...
Dan Perera. And I guess my title...
say your
yeah,
title.
I guess people are like, who's Dan Perera? I'm the music and video production coordinator here at St. Benedict.
So I understand this is your second time on the Digital Foyer.
This is, yeah. Only my second, yeah.
It's often you or Peter Sala who are doing the filming behind the camera.
Yeah.
And so Peter's been on 3 times. So how do you feel about that?
Wow.
He's done 50% more Digital Foyer interviews than you.
We should probably just do back-to-back episodes and catch up. Maybe
catch up.
2 or 3, I don't know. We'll see how we're feeling.
You have a lot to say. You have a lot to say. But anyways, we're here today. And one thing, so first of all, I just think this guy is amazing. So creative. Dan, as our both video productions, so often creating these masterful videos, and also in the music ministry, leading and coordinating all of our different music ministries. And so thank you for your gifts that you share for the Lord. We did this event recently. I think it was on February 21st, and it was called Adore.
That's right.
And actually, it wasn't inspired by me. Surprise, surprise. I usually don't come up with the best new ideas. But it was you and your team. And tell us, how did that come about?
Yeah. So more recently, just in the last, I'd say maybe 3 to 6 months or so, we're just recognizing that our musicians just want to pray. No shocker there. But to just have a space where we could come together and as musicians just have the freedom to pray and bring our gifts, our music, and to really explore praise and worship with no agenda, I guess the only agenda being to pray and to be with the Lord. And so out of this came this desire to want to be with the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. And in the past, we've done a couple of these nights before. But I think what made this one a little bit different was that we didn't want to prepare. We didn't want to make this more complicated than it needed it to be. We just wanted to put together a few people who were available to come into the church, into the nave, and do exactly that, to just pray and to have just an extended time of worship.
So the secret is don't prepare. Don't prepare for anything.
Yeah, don't prepare.
And then amazing things happen. No, I don't think that's what you mean, because I know that you practice a lot. All of you musicians, it's hours and hours that you practice and rehearse, getting ready for masses and proclaim nights and other events. But what you mean is, I think, you didn't want to overstructure this thing and say, we're doing this song for this long.
Yeah.
This many times are we going to repeat the refrain or things like that. So
that's exactly it. Yeah, I think what makes nights like Adore a little bit different from say a proclaim night or the liturgy, for example, is that we're really stepping out of the kind of the cookie cutter boxed up recipe of what worship needs to look like. Within the liturgy, of course, there's only so much room to play with, and I felt like at Adore there was just the playground to be spontaneous, to try different things and not feel the pressure of having to stick to a specific agenda. I mean, there was a schedule, but outside of that, the worship in general was very free flowing.
So I want to ask you this question, but I'll tee it up first with an observation. The question is, what was it like for you, the musicians? Because I can only imagine when you're up front, when you're leading, the pressure's on. I think we intentionally didn't have a live stream for this. We didn't have cameras because we just wanted to, just remove that element of complexity. But I heard that for each of the songs, there might have been 4 or 5 musicians in the group, that one was in charge of leading that song, and everybody else, they could play if they wanted, they didn't have to play, they could. And I noticed that one song, honestly, Annika, who is in the band, she had come out front, she was kneeling in front of the Blessed Sacrament, she was worshiping God at nowhere near the band, and that was okay. You didn't need her for that song. Is that, tell us a bit about...
No, that's exactly it. I think because we had kind of set it up and we talked about it beforehand, before the night even began, we said, hey, there's no expectation for you to be here all the time. Here meaning to being in front of the mics, to being in the band area. Like, have the freedom, if you feel called, to just go sit with the Lord in front of the Blessed Sacrament. Feel free to do that. And so there is this, yeah, like we had the one person leading the song, but everyone else was just living in the moment.
Living in the moment. I love it. It sounds like such a hippie right now. But it was really cool. I think the way I describe it is the band decided you guys wanted to worship before Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. And if other people wanted to tag along, they could.
Exactly.
And it was that, I mean, I'll just share from my experience. As a priest, I was presiding that night. I exposed the Blessed Sacraments and led the benediction, the final blessing at the end. And I was shocked. I gave a little primer at the beginning, but I was shocked by how easy everything felt. And it just like, as a priest, it was so satisfying to just be with my people, teach them how to pray and worship with them before Jesus.
Yeah, it's quite beautiful, because I think nights like that, like, there's something about it. It's the fact that, because there's so much freedom to just be in that space and just worship. For us as musicians, like, it really didn't matter where we were going. Like, we had songs selected, but for the most part, we just let the Holy Spirit kind of guide that time. And it wasn't about leading a congregation like we would have with, the Mass or a proclaim night. We just wanted to pray. We wanted it to be us and the Lord. It was not much about, what the band was doing, about what the congregation was doing. It was about who was up there, right? And so for us, it was just being able to enter into that moment with the Lord and bringing the people with us if they wanted to join us, right?
Well, Dan, I want to thank you and you and all the musicians that you represent here at our parish. We are so abundantly blessed. Thank you for following that prompting of the Spirit to have this night. And I think we touched on something. We're going to do it again. Stay tuned, probably in the spring. But we just wanted to take a moment today to celebrate what has happened, what God has done, and how we just want to be a church that continues to pray in beautiful and amazing ways. So thank you.
Yeah.
And God bless everyone. We'll see you next time on the Digital Foyer.